Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Art and Drawing Amelia in the morning. So, yesterday we did part one and got this far. I'm real zoomed in, and hopefully, my lighting and everything will stay. If it starts getting fuzzy, guys, let me know because I might have to readjust the autofocus. I turn the autofocus off so it doesn't go, you know what I mean. And if y'all have any questions for me, put them in caps so I know you're talking to me. And oh, there's Eileen hiding in the corner over there. I don't know what she's doing over there. She's trying to hide from Vicky, I think. So thanks everybody for being here. We got a full house. Hey, Moomy, and everybody else. I pretty much said hi to everybody. We got almost 50 people here this morning. So thanks for being here. I am recording, so if you miss any of the parts, part one's already uploaded to YouTube, and I'll upload this one, part two, as well. So thanks everybody for being here. So I have not posted, I posted the sketch for you on my blog. So if you want to print it out, it's Inky Well, INKIWELL at blogspot.com, and print her out just the plain sketch. Here, let me have, I got one here with nothing on it. So this you can print her out on tan paper, and then this is how far we got yesterday. So today we'll see how far we get. Okay? All right. So it will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Okay. Let me get my, and oh, the other thing I was going to say is I've not posted the photograph of Amelia yet because I don't want, I wanted y'all to at least start feeling like you're making some progress on the techniques rather than trying to say, oh, mine doesn't look like her. It doesn't, this doesn't look like her and all that. I didn't want y'all to get discouraged thinking that yours wasn't looking exactly like the photograph because it doesn't look exactly like the photograph until farther in. But if you see this and you look at the photograph and you go, oh, it doesn't look like Amelia. So I didn't want y'all to be discouraged. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get started on a little bit more. All right, what I want y'all to do now is let's go ahead and get your let's see what I want to start with. Okay, let's go ahead and get your dark brown. We're going to go ahead and get some of her hair kind of in some a little bit more blocked in here. Okay, so get your dark brown. Now her hair has a red tint to it. The I did a separate picture of her. It's kind of a, and I haven't seen her in real life, of course, but she kind of has a reddish golden hair color, but in this photograph it looks much redder. So we're going to kind of go by the photograph. I'm going to go by the photograph more than what I think her hair really has more golden hue to it, because when you see the photograph you don't know that she has a golden hue to the by the photograph, and I want you guys to be happy. So I will be posting the photograph either after this session or maybe after the weekend to give y'all time to work on it, because I want y'all to be happy with your progress. All right, so what we're going to do now is just take the dark brown and kind of just, let's just start right up here at the bow and just kind of just define an area between the bow and her head, like there would be kind of like a shadow under there. Am I zoomed in close enough, guys? Do I need to zoom in further, or is this good for you? Y'all have to let me know because I can't remember how far we went close in yesterday. Do I need to click in one more? What do y'all think? Let's try it. I'll have to refocus. I think that's pretty focused. How's that? Okay. Stop talking in class, Vaughn. I'm just kidding. Vaughn said she's whispering. Nomadic. Oh, Rose. Okay, so this is just kind of defined between the bow and her hair right there. She has her hair in a ponytail. And then around the sides here, just kind of get it kind of a light, just kind of do a little bit lighter there. Not a real hard, harsh line, but just kind of fade it out like that. All right. Perfect. Okay, good. That looks good. All right, good. Okay. And for those watching the recording, this is a live Ustream show with live people, and so when you hear me talking in a chat to people in a live chat, and so if you're watching the recording on YouTube, that's what's going on here. And feel free to join us over here at Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm usually on at least every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then at other times depending on what else we're doing. Okay, it's Lisa's fault. All right, so now what I want you to do is you can see all these. Let's go ahead and start with this. Let's go ahead and pick up a sienna. Okay, go ahead and pick up a light sienna. This is it's burnt ochre, but it's a sienna color. And remember, I told y'all, whatever you have, whatever you have in a sienna or a burnt ochre, whatever you have, the lightest one. Remember, I told y'all, do not go out and buy a set of pencils for this, just for this. You probably, if you have any kind of color pencils, you can use what you have. All right, because it's not so much. It's about the practice at this point. Okay, so what I want you to do is just go ahead and you can see the lines where I've kind of put them in the direction that the ponytail goes. Just go ahead and just kind of color. Just imagine you're coloring some hair all the way up to where you did the white yesterday. You could even go a little bit over some of the white because the lines kind of go over it. And just go ahead and just put a coat, a solid coat of that lightly now, just lightly for now, just to get it kind of blocked in so you know where we're going to go with the darker. Okay. All the way down to her ears over here. And if you notice, I'm going in the direction of the hairline. Like I'm going this way on the side, this way here. And the reason, even if you end up covering a lot of that up, if you go in the direction of something like her cheek, when we did the cheek down here and went like this, it helps you to remember the shape of things. Okay, hey Dana, you're late. Do you have a tardy slip? Okay. All right, so just kind of do that for just to kind of block in. And if you want, you could even put in a few of the, just kind of go like this with a few of the little baby hairs. This isn't so important, guys. I mean, every little hair right now at this point, you're not trying to I just want you to get the techniques down more than anything. Okay? Even more so than trying to make it look exactly like the actual photograph of Amelia. I'm trying to get you guys to kind of just really practice the technique. So can you kind of see how I did her baby hairs there? Just kind of laying them out like that. Okay, so I'll hold this there for just a second. Okay. All right, so now what I want you to do is, because her hair and her hairline and all this is more in shadow in the photograph, like I said, in person, she probably has much more goldy red hair, but you don't see it in the photograph. And since y'all are going to end up looking at this photograph, you're going to go, oh, but that's not the color of her hair. So I want y'all to kind of, I'm trying to do it so that y'all can be happy with it. Now, where you did that dark line, I want you to just to start and kind of almost do it with like hair, like strokes like this, so that you don't get too heavy-handed. But I just kind of want you to blend those darker hairs into on top. Just to, don't solid, not solid. You can, right along the line, you can kind of do more blending. Okay, right along that dark line, you could do a little bit more softening up that line, but just kind of pull in and go the direction of her hair like that, but kind of just pull in the hairs like that. Okay, and I know some of this is going to take a little longer than probably I'm going to give y'all time to do, but you see how now it looks more like a ponytail being pulled back? So you can just kind of do some lines like that. And then, like I said, at the roots or at the back, you can kind of shade that harsh line just a little bit more. We're going to go back over it again with sienna, but this will just kind of define it because her hair looks dark in the photograph. Okay. And you almost can see every hair right there on her scalp, where it, or her, right at the forehead. So just kind of do that. We'll just kind of, I'm trying to kind of take my time, but not, I don't want it to be 4 hour show. And then there's a few of the little baby hairs kind of go, pull around like that. But this will help you guys to start a portrait. So like if I'm thinking that we'll do Darcy UK, her picture next. And what I'll do with her, if we do decide to do that, if it's okay with her, I mean, I don't think she'll mind, but I'll make sure and ask her, is then if I post an outline for y'all to start with, then you'll have, then I'll also post the actual photo, which is her avatar picture, so you can see it anyway. Um, so that then you'll kind of understand how we're going to go with it. Okay? Someone found that you were here, Dana. All right? You're so cute. And then there's just a couple of little areas that are a little bit darker with the baby hairs, but not too many. I mean, remember, these are little baby hairs in there. We can go in after we color more of the skin and add a few more, uh, darker areas of baby fine hair right there. Yeah, okay. I kind of like that. Just imagine it growing out of her little head there like that. Okay, so kind of like that to start. Vicky says, I don't know, Daddy, you were shoving fellow classmates. She was doing that on Twitter. That was so funny. You are so cute. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of let y'all do this for a minute. So remember, like I said, this will be our practice one, and to we're going to do it as much as we can. Also, the other thing, the reason I like picking little Amelia and a little girl, there's not, her face is very smooth, just a cut, not a whole lot of shading, so it's kind of it's not a lot of you're not going to get too overwhelmed with all the shading with a little girl's smooth complexion. Although she does have some freckles we're going to put in there. All right. So after that, now I want you to go back with the sienna and just kind of put another coat lightly. We're doing all these very lightly because there's going to be lots of layers. Okay, so we're just going to kind of give her probably a little bit more reddish hair than the blonde highlights that are in there. But try to blend out. Let me see if I can kind of show you it. See how that's kind of rough right there a lot? Just kind of try to blend that in right along that line there. See how that kind of blends in? And then just kind of do the hair like that. Okay. Is that you, Janet? You're the little girl that always borrowed the pencils? But I bet it was like you want to color pencils though. That's like my granddaughter Boo when she went to, she's always crafted with me. And then again, down in here, some light little hairs, kind of baby hairs are just kind of in there like that. Not, it doesn't have to, you don't have to worry if you don't get every little hair in place when you see the photograph. Anyway, when she started kindergarten, um, and they had to have their list of school supplies. I mean, they had other supplies and stuff in pre-K and all that. But when she got her first list of school, I need to sharpen my pencil. The first list of school supplies for kindergarten, and she looked at her list when we went to buy things, and she went, Where's the Eileen's tacky? Where's the Eileen's tacky glue? She got this Elmer school glue. What the heck is that? Because she's been so used to crafting with real products, you know. And the scissors with the little rounded edges and no points. She's like, what? How am I supposed to fussy cut? How am I going to fussy cut with these? You know, she's used to use it like this, you know. How do you fussy cut with those rounded scissors? Ah. Well, we're so glad you're here, Janet. It's good to have you. You haven't been around, you know, around as far as I know, and you know the groups around UStream for a while. So it's good to see you. And so anyway, all right. So again, I'm just kind of trying to blend some of that harsh line. I can go back in there with the dark brown again. You just kind of want to go back and forth until you feel like, you know, I'm just trying to give you the idea of the hairline here. We're going to go in with a few highlights and stuff later. But right now, I'm just trying to get y'all to get some color on there. Okay. And every portrait you do is going to be different. You know, every skin's different, every hair is different, everything's different. So every time you do a new one, it's going to be different. All right, so I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of, you know, a little bit of just kind of shading in there where the baby hairs are. Kind of like that. Just lightly here, lightly, a few little hairs here and there, just lightly. Everything's a light touch. It's a lot, you just got to do lots of layers rather than trying to do too much harsh. So I can tell that just to me, that's kind of really stark there. And her hair, the darkness of her hair does come down a little, you know, further than this. So I'm just going to continuously just, you know, got a few little curled ones there and just kind of flick them in there, hair by hair. But it's real dark right there at the base of the ponytail. And her hair is very smooth and very precise because Mandy put it in one of those ponytails that pull your eyes back. I think Mandy's still here. Amelia's probably thinking, Mom, that ponytail's too tight. It hurts. You're giving me a headache. I'm not just making that up, guys. Okay. But it is, you know, it reminds me of how the cheer girls, they have those ponytails, like they have every hair in place in those cheer bows. Am I sure I'm making that? Well, no, not really. I'm not sure. Okay, so anyway, I'm half teasing Mandy here because she's here, and bless her heart, it's late for her. She, she's got to get up and put that ponytail in that hair in the morning. Okay, so maybe a couple little extra wispy ones there, and you know, a couple little ones here and there, something like that. You know, just to kind of indicate some baby hairs. Okay, so there we go. So y'all, I'll give y'all a minute to kind of, you know, get something like this. Okay, girls. She gets so many flyaways. Is that curly? Yeah, it's curly, so you have to put it into. Yeah, well, it looks like you probably hairsprayed it, wet it down, and licked your fingers and pull it back. For those of y'all watching the recording, I'm talking to Amelia's mom. They're in Australia and it's late, so I'm sure she's probably thinking, okay, now I can't leave because Dee Dee's going to be talking about me. No, Mandy, it's awesome. It's awesome that you let us draw Amelia. All right, so there we go. And she will have some little flyaway hairs because it will irritate Mandy. We're going to give her some flyaway hairs, but we'll do that at later. Yeah, I know. I like the little baby ears. But we're going to give her a few little flyaway hairs over the ears and stuff. But we have to get the ears colored in before we can do that. Then we'll just put a few poking out here and there. Uh, you look like pebbles when you're at home, Vicky. Yeah, what do? Put your hair up with a bone like pebbles? Okay, so there we go. So we're going to just move on from the hair for right now. We might, we'll be doing some more. When I'm working on a picture, I just kind of go all over the place, and that's how I'm showing y'all how I do it. All right, so now I want you to take your sienna again. Now, let's be cautious here. Let's don't give her a unibrow. She does have no hair right there. Okay, so where you see the lines that I put there, just kind of lightly put just a little bit of a line right there. Just a little bit of a, just to give you an indication of where we're going. See how lightly I did that? Her eyebrows are very, very light. Okay, very light. But we're going to do a little bit of more drawing. Let's make sure our pencils are sharpened too. Okay. Well, that's what Pebbles had in her hair, was a bone, right, Vicky? Ponytails are cheaper than a facelift, Carol. Okay, so shade just a little bit of that shading. Now, what in her picture she has like right above where you just drew that little bit of shadow right there, right above that, just put like maybe two little hairs like that. And then it kind of, you'll see that little line right there. It kind of just comes down a little bit, that, and then the shadow of her face will start coming down there. But just kind of give her that, there we go. Give her just a little bit like that. And she doesn't have quite that much arch, but like just about like that. Now we're going to go over this again with, shading all this. But I just kind of want you to kind of get that eyebrow in about like that. No. Okay. And it kind of just kind of lightly kind of shade that there so it's not quite so harsh, just a little bit like that. And if you don't get it exact, it's okay. This is practice. Mandy's not going to email you if you don't get it exactly like Amelia. All right. And then where you see that little bit right there where I left a little bit of line for you, just a couple little hairs right in there, like maybe a few like that. And then just kind of lightly, just a little bit of shadow right there. We're not going to overdo her eyebrows here. You can barely see them anyway. They're very, very light. And they're going to even be lighter than this after we put a coat of flesh color over the top of them. Okay, so there we go. So look, just kind of look at that. Just don't, just a little bit of shadow like that. It's in between those two white areas that you drew yesterday. So there we go. Something similar to that. Okay. Now, when you're able to see the photograph, you'll see you'll be able to see more detail, of course, when you're trying to draw a portrait. But at this point, I'm just really wanting to show you guys the blending and the techniques. Okay, I'm gonna have to refocus. Hang on. More than anything. Okay. An air dry clay bone. You girls crack me up. All right. So are we with all on the same page? Am we going too fast or we doing okay? Okay. So now we're going to go on to the eyes. Okay. Now we're going to use a light touch and we're going to use the sienna, which will be gone over with the flesh color. So it will tone it down. All right. But we have to define some things here. You're not on the same page. All right. Well, try to get on the same page. All right. All right, so now what I want you to do is get into the corner. I'm holding this up under the camera to even be just a little bit closer for you guys. In the corner of her eyes, I just want you to put a little bit of a point and just a little bit, like a little triangle right there. Okay. And I want you to kind of just connect. Don't go over the under where the blue is, but just a little bit right there and a little bit right there, just to the point of where the eyes are. Because this is all going to get covered up with flesh, but we have to have a little darker base coat. Otherwise, we're going to lose that definition. Okay, so you're just going to kind of get it to look kind of like that. Her eyelashes are black. She has black eyelashes, but we can't put the black on now until we shade the skin here, because otherwise if you put the eyelashes in, the black eyelashes in now, when you go to shade skin behind the eyelashes, you're going to be pulling that black into the picture, and you don't want to do that. Okay, okay, CB-licious. Okay, so back over here too. Again, bring down that point just a little farther than what you have in the drawing and make that little bit of a triangle like that. And again, just kind of go right there. I'm barely touching the paper, guys. I am barely touching the paper. So you see how I'm just going again in the corner, just a tiny bit darker, and then just go right up to the top of the eyelid and right to the bottom of the iris, just like that. You're just kind of defining the eyes, but don't put any more sienna on top or bottom. Don't put any sienna there because you're going to have, we don't need to try to be blending that out. But the corners, okay, and we're going to be shading in here some, a little bit of blue under the, like a shadow right there. Well, she has red undertones, and she has a red, kind of reddish hair, and that'll be, it's we're going to go on top of that. It's better that you don't want to draw black. I mean, you could, her eyelashes are going to be black, but you don't want to outline anything too dark that you're going to have to shade over the top. This is just like an underpainting, with the sienna, so that you can go on top with some shading. Okay, we're going to go over the top with peach. All right. Hi, Carrie. Do you need a tardy note too? Hey, Happy Di. All right. So I'm just kind of, because now we're going to do a little bit more definition with our sienna. But remember, keep a light touch. And no, you don't want any harsh, there's not going to be very few harsh lines in the whole thing. But, okay, so kind of get y'all a little caught up there. I want to try to get as much done around her eyes so y'all feel like once you get the eyes, and that's what I always try to work on when I'm doing commissions or portraits, or I want to get the eyes because that just brings them to life. But you can't really do eyelashes and darkness, that like makeup or anything like that until you get the blended peachy colors around the face. Otherwise, you're just going to be pulling up the the black into the other colors. Okay, Moomy. Yeah, I haven't watched Carrie's recording yet. I did ask her to record, so I'm glad she did. All right. So now y'all ready to move on? All right. So let's go ahead and let's just do a little bit on her. I think I need to lift this up, even though I know I'm zoomed in. Let me put a thing under there. There we go. So I can come back and forth from close, real close. All right, so now I want y'all to come over here to her ears. We don't want any harsh lines on the outside of the ear there. We're going to keep it nice and light. All right, but all I can do is just ask you to kind of follow along here and kind of shadow in those places that are that are not white. Her ear kind of comes around this way, kind of like that, just to start. Okay, just a little bit of shadow right there, and right there for now. Okay, we're just going to put some shadows in now with the sienna or whatever closest you have to this. All right, same thing on this side. Right in here, kind of like that, just a little bit. You can see where there's not the white. Where we didn't put the white is kind of where we're putting the shadows right now, even though some of it will be a peachier color. You can kind of see where the lines were. And she's going to have a little earring on there too. All right, so just kind of do that. I'm trying to kind of take it kind of slow. You know, I don't want y'all to feel rushed, but hey, Vicky L, another tardy slip, please. No, it's okay. You get here when you can. All right, so there we go. Now, on her eyelids, I want you just to, you'll see the line there. I just kind of want you just to go over the line of the eyelid. I know you can see it there in sienna already from the sketch, but that sketch, the sketch that we printed out is not going to blend. Okay, it won't blend. And we have to have a little bit of the sienna on her eyelids so that we can have something to blend with. So even though it's sienna already for you, go back over it with your pencil because that's what we're going to use to blend with. You know what you know what I mean, Vern? The color that's on the drawing that you printed out will not blend, is what I'm saying. Okay, so just kind of go over those lines lightly. Everything is very light. All right, and then right here where those little lines are where the nose is, just kind of define those just so you kind of know where they are. Again, just very, very light touch. All right, we good? All right, now let's go over here on the side of the face here. This isn't all in darkness in the photograph. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go in front of her ear there and just kind of connect her face right there. Okay, just kind of just connect her face like that, lightly, lightly. All right, and just follow very lightly your line that has the sienna on it. And that again is for shading purposes. We have to be able to pull some of this sienna up, and the printout will not pull up the sienna. You need an excuse. Okay, bye, Nana J. I'll give you an excuse. You have company coming. You girls are a hoot. Have a good day, Nana J. All right. Now, the same thing on this side. We're just going to kind of follow down around the ear, straight down, along her face, along her jawline, one just nice, smooth line. Don't push too hard because you're going to have to blend all that out. But I want you to have something to blend with. Okay. Just a little bit more shadow in her ear there, like that. Okay. Am I going at a good pace here, guys? I don't want you to get too, I want y'all to be able to follow along, but I know that I don't want to go too fast either. I want you to, sort of keep up anyway. Okay, so I'm going to just sit here a second, read chat, and you'll let me know. Links are open, Carrie, if you want to put your Ustream and your whatever in there. So good. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, Lulabelle Lynn, she posts, and there's quite a few that posted their progress on Twitter yesterday. All right, we doing okay? All right, so now I want you to, you'll see all the places that you've done where we have the sketch. What we're going to do is basically very lightly, I mean just like a wisp of a color over all those lines that you see that we sketched. Again, we have to have something to blend with. Okay, her little nose like that. She has a little roundy nose. You don't really even hardly see any, well, you really don't see her nostrils. But I just kind of want you to have a little bit of a shadow there. Just in the places, I mean, barely touch it, barely touch it. She has a little dimple there, so she's got two little marks over there. And all I really want you to do, guys, is just basically put a light, very light coat where you see the lines from the nose and the lips. Just just barely touch it. This is just a little bit of color for you to blend with. Her lips are going to be very pink, but they're going to you have to have a little bit of an outline, so we're going to use the sienna for that. All right. Hey, Jamie. All right, so everybody just take a minute and kind of I'm looking at the picture, see where else might need a little bit more. Okay. I'll just give y'all a second just to kind of go over, barely go over those lines that you had in the sketch. All right. Take a sip of coffee here. All right. Okay. The next thing I think I want y'all to do, I'm going to try to make it as easy as I can for the lip color because that can sometimes be a little tricky. What colors do I want to use here? Okay. All right. So get a peach. Your remember you have a couple shades of peach. You should have a light and a dark. Well, that's even the same. Just a light and a pinkier peach. Just whatever peach colors you have. Okay, have these two ready. Okay. You want your two peach colors. Whatever color you have, guys. I know that not everybody has all the Prismacolor pencils, but sharpen them. Get them nice and sharp. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sharpening my peach, two light peach and medium peach. Let me show you the difference between that and a pink. Okay, so there's pink. There's two shades of peach right there. You want these two right here. These are going to be the main colors in her face. With a blend, okay, so let me just rehash this. You want a dark, I don't want to say that's dark peach, but it kind of is, and a light peach. But then you also are going to, let me sharpen this one too, are going to have a sort of a tan color. I'll tell you what this one is called, but it's whatever color you have closest to your paper. This one is called peach beige. But see how it's like almost the color of the paper? So these are the colors that we're gonna want right now. A light and a dark peach, and whatever color you have closest to the color of your paper. Okay? All right. So now I want you to let's take your dark peach, and I just want you to put a coat of the peach over the lips, not pushing hard. And we're going to highlight the lips later with a little bit of acrylic paint. I just want you to color in the lips with a coat of peach. We're going to layer, okay? But just to get a little bit of peach in her lips. It's the darker of the ones. And you can go all the way over to the edges, over the top of all the sienna. Okay, go over the sienna, but we're not bearing down. We're not bearing down. Okay. CB is talking quietly. Yeah, y'all put your Twitter names in for homeschool mom of four. I just like to call her Mama Four. I just like saying that. All right. Oh, Eileen, have you been having problems getting in the chat? I'm sorry. Your cat sprawled across the keyboard asleep and you didn't want to wake him. Okay, now take the same peach, all right? Take the same peach and let's start on the ears. What I want you to do is go over the sienna and on a little bit on either side of the line of sienna. You're kind of blending that sienna in with just a little peach. Okay? Go over the sienna and a little bit on either side of the lines. Just, you're blending, you're on top of the sienna. All right, same for this ear. Right in here is going to be peach too. But go over the sienna, color that in lightly, over the sienna, and just kind of lightly color in and kind of blend it in. So you still have that dark of the sienna contrasted with the peach, but the peach is blending on either side of the sienna line and blending it in. Does that make sense? Y'all got doctor's excuses. So cute. All right, let's do a little bit right here on her nose now. And I'm trying not to go too fast here. The same thing with the peach, lightly over the top of where you did your sienna and on either side of the line, just a little bit, just a little. We're doing this lightly. Okay, are y'all kind of seeing her come to life a little bit? And I'm stopping in between things so that y'all can kind of do it along with me, which I normally wouldn't be stopping while I'm doing it, but I want y'all to kind of, okay. And then right on either side there where the nostrils are, and you can kind of start to just blend a little bit into that white, just a little there. Just try to keep in mind that her little nose, she has a little, like a little ball like on her nose because she has a tiny little nose. All right, now I want you to kind of imagine this. Don't really draw a harsh line across, but right across her nose right there, imagine there's sort of a line there and start doing just a little bit of shading. Thinking almost, like right across that little nose and kind of up just a little bit like this. Up to the white there. We're going to blend this, we're going to blend that ball in a little more, but I don't want you to lose that yet. So you're kind of almost putting a little bit of a triangle of peach. Okay? All right. Just kind of like, almost like connecting that white to this white, but not harshly. I can't stress that enough. We're not pushing down, we're not bearing down on any of this. Okay. What we're going to start to do now is see the colors of the paper? Those colors, this is where we're going to start doing the darkest parts with this and the lighter parts with the lighter peach. Then what we end up doing after that is go over most of it with this very lightly. So you'll see how we'll blend it. And then we'll go in with more white highlights. Okay, it does take time to do these, guys. You just really can't whip one of these out. You know, I mean, I can do them faster because I do so many of them. But even for me, you know, the least amount of time I can do those small ones in my small sketchbook for sketchy is 2 hours. That's pushing it. You know, a full portrait, you know, can take, take a day. And that's speedy. To me, you know, a day is even speedy. All right, so now what I want you to do is take your peach and all this area right in here. Now you see the color of the paper now. See how you can see the color of the paper much more defined because you've got the white? All right, what I want you to do is from the eyebrow around here all the way around like a C shape. I want you to start kind of shading that in from the eyebrow, not down here on the eyeball, up here at the eyebrow. Start shading lightly, lightly. See how lightly that's looking? Look at that compared to that. See how I'm filling in the paper color? And go all the way around like that, just around the eye like that. You're going to start seeing this come to life real quick. Okay, you're going to see it come to life really quick here. All right. Again, you can go over right there, that little sienna bit, and you can even go over the sienna with the peach on her eyelid. Okay, you're kind of getting rid of the sienna, but it's still under there. But see how I did, but see how I went around like that to this part of her under that white? Pay attention to your paper color. That probably is the best tip I can give you. You can erase if and like I said earlier on the a previous show. Where's my Ticonderoga? I like the Ticonderoga black eraser. I do not recommend a pink eraser. Either use the white or the black. And because you can erase lightly because you're not bearing down. All right, now come over to this side of the eye. And do you see where there's the paper color between the outline there and that little bit of white we put there? That's where you're going to color in. Okay, just kind of color under the eye there. And you can also do just a little bit here. Don't go harsh, just kind of, just a little coat. A little light coat of the darker peach. Okay, under this eye too. All right. And again, let's go over that eyelid line with the peach where the sienna was. And just lightly shade, don't get heavy now, just shade like right in there around the eye there. Okay, and just a little bit down like that. Okay, I hope y'all can see that subtlety. Because I want to keep it subtle here. Okay, so somebody's talking about an earthquake. Hey, Kathleen. Was there another one other than India, you mean, guys? I saw APG mention it, and I know there's a delay in chat, so I have to wait a second. So I'll wait till somebody tells me what it is. Hey, Miss Yancey. This is part two, Morgan, if you didn't know. This is part two, and they will be uploaded to YouTube as well. So you can watch the progression that we're doing here. And this sketch right here, is on my blog for you to print out. Okay. Well, if y'all hear anything else, that's where my daughter is in LA. So let me know, Vicki. Okay. It's just a jolt. Okay. All right. So now I want y'all to go ahead and just, do a little bit of the peach right around the eyes, like right here in the corner, in this side, where on the outside of the white. Okay. Don't be bearing down. It's better to, put a few like light layers. All right. Now this is all going to get blended out more, but I'm trying to do it systematically for you guys. Okay. All right. Now, where the darkest parts of your sienna is, even though that it is kind of a sienna color eyebrow, I still want to just put a little bit of light coat just to tone down the sienna just a little bit on her eyebrows. Okay, just kind of go over the top of all the eyebrows, just lightly now. Okay, just lightly. What that does is give us a coat of peach to work with when we go in with the lighter peach to blend it in. Okay, all right. Same thing if y'all, well, I don't even think that's necessary. You really don't even need to go right along the top of the eye line with the peach because we're going over that with black. She has black eyelashes, so we won't really worry about that. Okay, bye, drive by, Jamie. All right, so now let's continue on here and right along this hairline where the white is, just put a little bit of peach, just like a little bit. We're just going to kind of go right along the face line and cover up, and you can use a little bit of the side of the pencil if you want, but basically you're going on the sienna and into the face, just lightly on the sienna and into the face. Just follow your line all the way around, lightly, lightly. See how, can y'all tell the difference where you've gone over the sienna and where you haven't? See how you're bringing in the peach color, but you still have a defined jawline, but you're blending it into the face. Can y'all see the difference from this side to this side? So follow along don't go into the neck, just follow along the jawline here and pull the peach into the face just a little bit, about an eighth of an inch maybe. But it's not even, it's kind of more blendy than just a harsh line. Can y'all see that though, how the difference is when you go over the sienna? Look at this half compared to right where I stopped. You can tell the difference. Okay, you see how that softens it? It softens the sienna, but if you didn't have that sienna there, you wouldn't get that look. Okay, so just continue around, and if I was just working on the see, I would turn the page, but I'm keeping it straight up and down so y'all can see it. So just continually go over that sienna and pull it into the face, just lightly. Okay, just keep doing that all the way around the jawline. Just pull it in all the way around. Lightly, lightly. all the way up to the hairline. And then you can just go a little bit even on the hairline right there. Just a little bit of peach. Oops, sorry. A little bit of peach right in the hairline there. Okay, I know it's very, you don't see it, it's subtle. Okay, then in where you did all the baby hairs, just a light little coat over the top. I'm barely touching the paper, barely touching the paper. Okay, keep this kind of a little bit of a light area in there, but just keep blending. You can just add a little bit of coat of peach all along the hairline, right over the hairs. You can go right over the hairs. Her hair's it has those little fine baby hairs there. Okay, so just keep lightly blending in a little bit of peach all in those little hairlines. All the way around her face. And you may not be able to barely see that, but when you should be able to see it on your own work. Yeah. If you want to work quick, you can have two sharpening. The problem with sharpening the other end of the pencil, Vicky, is you'll start to sharpen into the number. If you know your colors and all that, and you don't mind sharpening over the number, but eventually, if you're using both ends of a pencil, you'll sharpen over the number. Okay. All right. So just along the hairline there, a little bit in the baby hairs. Okay. Am I going at a good pace, guys? Let me know. So we're already an hour in. I don't want to do more than like another hour. So we'll probably have to be, I'm going to try to get y'all to get the eyes done today. Okay. But I know we're not going to finish this in another hour, I mean. So we're going to work on for about another hour so that the lessons are only about a couple hours long each. And then we'll work at it again on Monday. And after Monday's class, I will post the photograph of Amelia because y'all will be far enough along that you won't say, oh, you know. Okay. All right. So it's a good pace. Okay. Thanks, guys. And of course, you always can go back and watch the recordings, right? All right. So now what I want you to do, let's see. I really want to get around the eyes pretty soon, but all right. Right along down here on her under her neck here, just go ahead and put a nice light little coat of peach. Just kind of like a little just imagine a little triangle right there. Just lightly, just a light little triangle of peach right under there where her shadow of her face will be. Okay? I'm just trying to see where else we need to add a little bit. Okay? Right there. And it's very subtle. I don't even know if you can see it on camera. Okay? We're using the tan of the paper to our benefit. All right? Then right over here, she has a little bit of you can see a little bit of her collarbone. So just put a little bit of a shadow right there where her collarbone, and it's hard to see, but see where I'm putting the pencil right there? Just put a little bit right there where her collarbone will be. We're not going to worry about that today, but that's just where we're going to go with that. Okay? I'm not sure where you get the potty people from, Brighton. I don't remember where I got those potty people, but if you'll email me, make sure you tell me your address again. I will send you a couple potty people. Okay. All right. Now, right now, again, I can't stress enough to be subtle, but all these parts above her lip that you see that are not white, put a light coat of the peach. Okay? Very light, very light. You're basically covering up the tan of the paper with peach, but not everywhere yet. Not everywhere. Okay? Don't get ahead. Just and you may not be able to barely see that. Okay? All right, again, under her cheek right here is it is a little bit darker, but connect it. See that little line that you started with there? Make sure that the cheek goes right there, because otherwise you're going to lose the shape of her little face. Okay, right under there. Make sure that the dark goes right under there, under that white, but connect it to that line. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right shape of her face. Okay. Same thing over here on this side. Very lightly, like underneath that cheek, connecting that little line that we had there. And it goes all the way around on the outside of that white up to her eyebrow. Okay? So it goes all the way around like that peach color. And the same thing on this side, from her eyebrow down, all the way around. It's on the outside of the white you did. This will all get blended even more. But right now we're adding some of the darker elements of the shadow of her face. Okay? But keep it light. Don't bear down. I cannot stress that enough, because if you get this too waxy of a buildup, you're not going to be able to put another layer of the light over the top, let alone another coat of the tan that matches the paper. Oh, good, Mandy. Mandy, the mom, is saying it looks good. Well, good. Well, Mandy knows what the photograph looks like. See, the girls don't know what the photo, unless they could go follow you and find the photograph. I mean, they if they really were that determined, but they're not using the photograph yet, Mandy, because I want them to learn the techniques more importantly than trying to draw Amelia exactly at this point. You know what I mean, Vern? Okay, so remember you have a, let me get my white just to show again. Remember we had a little bit of the white like oval area here and a little bit of the white oval here. Okay, remember that we did that? Now what I want you to do, again, as light a possible touch as you can, lightly blend in wherever you see the tan paper. Right around the white, right around the chin. And she has the slightest, almost a little bit of a dimple that we'll bring out later. Okay, but just barely touching the paper. I'm filling in wherever that tan paper is. And when I say filling in, I just mean barely touching. I'm going around those ovals there, under the cheek, right there. Okay, and you may not even be able to see that I've put any color on there. It's so subtle. But now it's, to me, when I look at it, it's peach, not tan. Okay. If you get it too waxy, you won't be able to layer. That's the thing, Annabelle. It won't, you won't be able to layer when it starts getting too much of a waxy buildup. That's why you got to take it slow with color pencil. Light, 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 light touches. Okay. So everything from the nose to the chin here, you should have covered with wherever the paper was, has something on it. Okay. Now, right down in here, remember we did this darker here, and you still have some light, you still have some tan paper there. Just leave that for now, because we're going to use the lighter peach on that later, okay? So just kind of stay with me, okay? Am I going at a decent pace for you guys? All right. All right, so now let's see what's the next thing I want to try to do here. All right. Okay, from this, we need to keep that defined. Let's just leave that for now. All right, I think what we're going to do, because I want to get to the eyes. All right, now here's your peach we've been using. Now I want you to get the lighter peach that you have, whatever that is. Okay, get your lighter color peach. All right. And what you're going to do is every place that you see on the cheeks and around and under the eyes that's left, I want you to put a coat of the light peach, okay? Around the eye here, again, very light. All you're doing is barely covering up the tan paper. And it's going to be so subtle. You're going to have to really probably pay attention yourself to see that you're covering up the tan paper. Okay, all the way down to the where you did the white of the cheeks there. Okay, up around the nose there. Every place that's left that you see tan paper, use the light peach. And you may not even be able to see the difference. Okay, and they're gonna be more blending, but this is just getting the colors on there. Okay, every place that you see your tan paper on both sides under her eyes here. I'm blending it kind of like right into that other peach there, but I'm just covering up all the tan. I'm not going over the white there. I'm just covering up the tan paper above her eye as well. Wherever you see the tan paper, right there on the bridge of her nose, any place you see tan paper. Are y'all starting to see her come to life a little bit? And again, the subtlety between this and this, you probably may not even see on camera. If you're following along, you may not even be able to see the subtlety of it. Okay. And then what I want you to do also, now remember you have a big, yesterday you put some white all along here, remember? Right there. So this is covering up the tan paper, but see all the tan paper here? All this tan paper, take your, and you can kind of do it on the side. Just, I want you to cover up lightly all the tan paper with this light peach, very gently. See, you can't even, in the camera, when I'm looking at the camera, I cannot tell the difference. When I'm looking down at my paper, I can tell the difference. And so you should be able to tell the difference on your paper. But in the camera, I can't even see where I'm putting this. I don't know if y'all can tell. But what I'm doing is just covering up all the tan paper with this light peach. Leaving, there's white above her eyebrows. Remember, right yesterday we've had some white above the eyebrows. Make sure you don't cover all that up yet, because you don't want you to lose that. I just want you to cover up all the tan paper all the way across her face. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Up here in her little hairline, there's some tan paper left. Okay, so right now I'm looking at this and I see everything is covered up on her face. You can also go down here on her neck and lightly cover up the tan paper right there on her neck. Okay, how we doing? We doing all right? You can vaguely see it on camera, Vicki. Okay, but when you guys are doing it at home, you should be able to tell the difference between the tan paper and the light peach. Um, it's just not showing up on camera very well. Okay, we're just getting the rid of the tan paper. All right, now for the next little bit, we're going to work on the eyes. Okay, we're going to work on the eyes now. Because you should have all above the eye now, you should have all the tan paper covered with peach. Go over that little sienna if you need to blend it out so that the sienna line is there, because that's her eyelid, but that it's not a harsh sienna line. Can y'all see what I'm talking about? Her eyelid. I mean her, yeah, the eyelid. Not the line right there on her eye, but the eyelid. Okay? Just kind of make sure that that's the sienna is covered. You'll still be able to see the eyelid, but it's covered. And then one more little, we're going to do this one more time before we do the eyelid. Take your white, let me sharpen mine again. Because we're doing lots of layers, it's easy to lose the whites because of when you're doing pencil shadings and you're brushing it, and it's easy to lose your very, very bright whites, and it's also easy to dull the black part of her eye. But we'll fix that too. But what I want you to do is, after you have kind of blended out the eyelid, take your white again and just kind of make sure that you still have the white part of the lid. Okay, there's really brighten that up, because what we're getting ready to do is put black eyelashes on there, and you're not going to be able to do this again. You're not going to be able to get in here on top of the eyelid with white once we put the black eyelashes on top. So you want to make sure that that white on the eyelid is really bright. Now, granted, your eyelids are not white, okay? But this, when you're doing a portrait like this, the highlights of it will, it just, and of course it's depending on the person you're doing to. I don't want to make a generalization. But if there is white on the eyelid, like we have here, you want to make sure that you have that before you do your eyelashes, because you're not going to be able to get a white pencil in there in between dark eyelashes. All right? Okay. Are we ready to move on to the eyelashes? Y'all are going to love this part, but be patient with yourself now. Get your black pencil and get it as sharp as you can. Okay? Sharpen that black pencil up nice and sharp. Nice and sharp. Okay? Okay? Now, while you're doing that, I want you to notice a couple things. One is, as we were drawing the iris, we made it a little bit rounder, and what we're going to end up doing is we're almost going to cut across the very top of that circle. Don't go way down here now. I want you to follow the contour of her eye. But if your iris has gotten bigger over the top of the eye line there, you're going to need to go over that. You don't, what I want you to see is, let me get a piece of scrap paper here. What I don't want you to do is, all right, so here's her eye right like this, okay? And we have her eyes like this. Well, if you've been coloring in the blue, you might have like gotten a little bit up in there, okay? You know what I'm saying? And even down here, but we're not going to put black on the bottom here. Don't go do anything on the bottom yet. But what we're going to try to do here now is we're going to, from about right on this side of the line of her eye, all the way to the end. Don't go into the corner here with the black. We're going to start just on the outside of the circle. But if you've gone way up here with the blue, you're going to need to cut that off like that. Okay, I hope that's making sense. Because it's real easy. I can subtly see where I've gone a little too high with the blue as well. Okay, but don't start down in the corner, because her eyelashes are not black all the way in the corner. It's going to be, and okay, just start, just don't start in the corner. Start just shy of the iris right here, and you're just going to draw a line. I'm going to do it here in a second, but you're going to cut right across and stay right on the line. And the thinner you do it, the better. Okay, I'm going to have to tilt my page just a little. I'm going to start just on the other side of the, see where I put that line, that dot right there? And I'm going to just, as carefully as I can, and as one stroke there. All the way across, though, to where it almost like curls up over there on the outside. Okay? That's all I want you to do right there. Okay, right on right on the other side of there, one line right across. And try to do it as thin as you can. Okay? And then on this eye, it's just barely starts, just barely past the iris. And the same thing, follow along, and it's going to kind of like curl up on the end. She has long eyelashes, very long eyelashes. And we're going to do the eyelashes next. Okay? After we get this going here. I want to try to get as much of the eyes done, even though we still have more work to do in the irises. But I want y'all to start feeling like you're making progress. Okay? But I'm going to show y'all how to do eyelashes. At least long ones like hers. All right? All right, now before we do that, I want you to sharpen up, get your light peach again, the light peach, sharpen it up. Sharpen the light peach. Here's the dark one and the light one, remember? Okay, get the lightest one, whatever light one you have. Okay, and what I want you to do is and I can't stress it enough how subtle you have to do this. Right over those sienna lines on the under the eye, I want you just to go right. Oh, my pencil lead broke. Okay, hang on. Let me resharpen it. Nice and sharp. Hang on. It's not wanting to sharpen for me. Okay. Still with me? Okay. So right over the sienna line that you had previously, whether you drew it or whether it's left over from your the sketch, just go right. Oh, good grief! Hang on. Yeah, let me give you an example here. See how that's crooked? That's what you want to avoid when you buy the pencils. Crooked lead. Okay, let me sharpen it again. I might have to get a different pencil. All right. All right. So what I'm trying to get you to do is underneath the eye, and I can feel it wants to break again. Hang on, I've got to get a different pencil, guys. Let me see. All right, hopefully this one. All right, let's try this again. Is go over the sienna on the underneath of the eye. Okay, both eyes. Now, not the corner. You want to leave the corner a little dark like that, but you're just covering up the sienna. And by covering up, I mean it's still dark under there. It's still dark under there, but it's not that dark, dark line. Okay? No data, right? It's frustrating when they break. But anyway, this one is just called light peach. That's my lightest peach. All right. Now, before we go any further, I want you to get um, your lightest blue and sharpen it up too. I'm trying to get as much of the eyes done here for you to feel like you've accomplished something today. Because I know it takes a lot of layers to do these, and it's just so hard to do it in one day or two. I mean, I'm really surprised that y'all are kind of going this fast. Manny says you heard someone that you can put the microwave. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, someone said you can put them in the microwave, but then I think Dana had one melt. I think the metal on the something happened. I think it was Dana that something happened to. And also heard you can put them in the oven, like at 250 for, just a minute or two. But I'm not telling anybody here on the recording to do that. I can't recommend cooking your pencils. You might want to find somebody else that has done it and successfully. Mine is, yeah, Dana said don't microwave. I think she had something happen to one of hers. So, okay. So let's don't cook our pencils. Let's just try to make sure when we buy them that we buy them with lead that's centered. Okay. Take your light blue. All right, y'all ready here? Take your light blue. And what I want you to do is right under the well, maybe we might even need a little bit darker. I'm not sure. Well, no, let's just go with the lightest. I don't want y'all to. Okay, just with the lightest blue, right under the eyelid on either side of the iris. Now, again, if you get it on the iris, we're not done with the iris. We're still going to do more coloring in there. So, if you get on top of it a little bit, it's okay. Just kind of, what I'm trying to do is just get you to give it a time, and you're not going to be able to see that on camera. It's just the subtlest bit of light blue right under the eyelid. And because she's so young, there's not a lot of shadow under there. Just right under, right, you can't see it. Okay. I don't know if you can even see it yet. See it. Maybe I need to do it just a little bit darker one for the sake of the camera. I think I will. All right, y'all do it with the lightest blue you have. I'm going to do it with just a little bit darker one so it shows up on camera. Okay. Can you see that tiny bit of blue underneath the eyelids? Okay. And what I want you to do also, make sure not, on this one, I've kind of lost the corner of her eye here. Don't lose the corner. If you need to go back, because you're, adding colors in there, if you need to go back and put the sienna corner of her eyes back in a little bit, because I kind of lost mine. All right. And then take your light blue. Mine's a little darker. You're just going to have to kind of, I don't know every single shade of blue. I would probably be using this personally, but it's not showing up at all. So I'm going to use this one just so it shows up a little bit better on camera. But what I want you to do is kind of almost go over just the touch. It's almost like you're blending the sienna and a blue together right there in the corner. Imagine the eyeball, and what you're doing is just kind of shading the white of the eyeball very subtly. When I say subtle, I just cannot stress that enough. Okay. Let me hold that there for a second and see if that'll help. Can you see where the blue is barely touching the corner, the sienna right there? I missed something Eileen said, but everybody's rolling on the floor laughing. Right there where the corner, you have the sienna, and the blue is barely overlapping that sienna onto the white. It's something that's very subtle, but it makes your eyes look real. Yeah, it's effective. Exactly, Lindsay. Okay. All right, we're going to do the eyelashes now, then we're going to stop for the day. All right, now pick up your black again. And again, the reason we're using black on her, she has actual black eyelashes. Not everybody does, but in this case, she does. Now, you may not be able to, if you still have printed out one of your originals here, if you have an extra one, you can see where we had some eyelashes drawn in. You do not have to do them exactly like this. Just kind of follow along and you'll do fine. Nobody freak out on the eyelashes here. Okay? Yes. Hi, KP. Nobody freak out on the eyelashes. What I want you to start out with is just above her pupil, above the black of the pupil. I want you, this is where the one longest eyelash is going to be. So you can judge from this. I want you to just to draw one little line straight up like that on either pupil. Even though above her on this eye, there's not one straight up here, but I want y'all to do this because this will help you. Okay? And she has long eyelashes. No eyelash is going to be longer than that. That is the longest eyelash you will be drawing. All the rest of the eyelashes are going to be shorter than that. Okay? Eileen's putting barrel Prismacolor links in there. What does it say, Eileen, about that new? Oh, it's on eBay. Okay. All right. Yeah, Vicky lost out on a set. Okay. Y'all with me still? Those of you that are following along and those on that plane in the back of the room and are going to get a U in conduct. That's what I used to get because I was a talker. Can y'all tell I was a talker? I'll tell y'all this one story. I've told some of y'all before, but and I do talk loud too. Believe it or not, I talk loud. But one day, I think it was in must have been third or fourth grade. I'm thinking it was third or fourth grade, maybe fifth, but I don't think so. I think it was third or fourth grade. And I got called to the principal's office. I never got called to the principal's office before. What did I do? Well, so I was waiting outside in the antechamber to see the principal. And the principal finally called me in and said, we know you have a loud voice and it's okay. The problem we have is the school play, the microphone is broken, and we need someone to narrate the play whose voice will carry through the whole auditorium. So they had me narrate the play without a microphone because that was not my voice carried. Anyway. All right, back to the eyelashes. All right, now what I want you to do, now remember, this one here is an eyelash curling off the corner there, and she has one curling off the corner there. All right, now what I want you to do is on the right where the iris starts here, the blue part of the eye, I want you to just do a tiny little eyelash right up to the eyelid. All right, see where the eyelid is? Right there, the eyelid. From the corner there, just right there. Okay, same for this eye. Now, in reality, no eyelashes are this, they're not every one is like this, but I want y'all to get the point here. Okay. See how we went from the corner of the, right at the edge of the iris to the eyelid? That's how short those are, but they're still very long. Her eyelashes are very long, but no longer than this one. All right. Now I want you to come over here to the eye where the eye starts there, or the iris starts there. Okay. And go out to there. And you can even curl it just a little bit from out there to right to the eyelid. Okay. Do you see why we had to do the white now? You know why that white is there? Because we're going right over it with black. Mandy. Okay, now go over to the back side of this iris, on this side of the iris, and again, you're going right up to the top of that eyelid. Okay. Y'all with me? I do the eyelashes and those. All right. So those are your defining eyelashes right there. All right. Now, halfway in between this one and this one. I want you to draw one more just right to the edge right there to the eye. Again, just not past the eyelid. And the same thing on this side. We're going to just draw one kind of dividing that right in there. And see how they're shaped this away and that away and this away? You see how they're forming? This one I just did straight up so you could find your point. Then this one goes that way. These curl out. All right, same for there. All right, are you with me? Yeah, we're going to be subtle here. Although she does have her eyelashes are seriously this long. Okay, black, seriously long eyelashes, this little girl. And when we put her little freckles on there, she's just as cute as a little button. But we're not done. We're not done with the shading yet, so we can't do the freckles yet. Now, I want y'all just to watch here how I'm going to do this. Very sharp pencil. I can't stress that enough. And in between here, you're just going to do a couple little flicks there. In between these, you're going to just do maybe 3 or 4 little flicks. In between those 2 or 3 little flicks. In between that one and that one, maybe 2 or 3 more little flicks. You see? See how subtle those are? Vern is with you. Over here, you might have just one tiny little one there or something. Very subtle. You see how subtle that looks? But look how long it gives her nice long lashes. But it's very subtle. You're going to need a critique. All right, let's go over here. Again, let's just put one tiny one there. And then in between these 2, flick, flick, flick. In between these 2, a couple of little flicks there, maybe 3. In between this one and that one, give it a couple of 3, maybe 3 flicks. And then on the end here, maybe 1 or 2 going out there. This one looks like it has a little bit dead stop right there. I'm going to kind of flick that one a little. Okay. So can y'all see how subtle they are? This one I don't like where it stopped. I'm going to kind of has a harsh edge. There we go. Yes, you have to have a sharp pencil. Okay. Hey, Susan. You're in still mode. Okay. Shh. Okay. Yes, don't sneeze when you flick. All right. Now what I want you to do, take that light blue. Take the light blue. Now mine's the medium blue. If you feel like you can't even see your light blue at all, then go with a little bit darker, but you got to be subtle here, people. Subtle, subtle, sharpen, sharpen. All right. Now this will make it look like she's you just have to trust me on this. Okay. All right. We ready? Okay. Take your blue, sharp, sharp pencil. I'm going to hold this up. What you're going to do is basically go right over that black line, just the line. What it's going to do, it's going to smear that black line just a little and make it just look a little bit more realistic. I don't even know if you're going to be able to tell the difference between that and that. It's very subtle. And if you get too much blue and you feel like you've lost too much black, you can go back over, but we want to keep it subtle. Okay, can you see the difference lightly? I'm just going over the black line just to kind of smear the black, just the slightest bit. It's just barely smearing it. And even right there where I kind of got a little bit of a harsh edge where the 2 meet, where the eyelid and the black, see it kind of sharply ends right there. If you take the blue, you can kind of blend that out. Just, I'm trying to hold that where I can see it too. Kind of blend that out just the slightest bit. And it just makes it just a little bit more subtle. Okay? And then right here in the corner of the eyes too, I need just a tiny bit more. We haven't done the under the eyes yet. But right there in the corners of the eyes, because the eyes they're white, but they're also round. Can you kind of see that, just that little bit of blue, that little bit of blue? And remember, just there's that slightest bit of blue right there. Now, sometimes people have a very, very bright little highlight in the corners of their eyes. She does in one and not the other, but we'll do that toward the end when we go back with any extra white, bright highlights. Okay? All right. So can you see the difference? Okay. All right, ready to move on? All right, now what I want you to do is, again, pick up your sienna again, because now we're going to do, we're going to work on underneath of her eyes a little bit. Now, even though we did blend out some of that peach color, it's kind of a balance between back and forth between the sienna and the peach, and leaving some of that white there. But this is going to be a subtle, and you're going to have to kind of just go with it and trust me a little here. Go back. Remember, we already had a sienna line. We went over it with peach. Now we're going to go back over it with just a little bit of sienna on either side of the iris. Just a little. Just a little. Okay, both eyes. Just don't go under the iris. Just on either side of the iris, put another coat of sienna. Okay. I hope I'm not too close there. All right. Now go back to your light peach again. And we're just going to kind of blend that in again. We're just making it another little layer of under the eye there. And I don't, I'm trying to show you as detailed as I can, but sometimes it's kind of tricky to show those tiny little details. We don't want it dark, but we want it defined. So you have to kind of go back and forth between the sienna and the peach to get that defined. Okay. All right. Now, because we're getting ready to do the lower lashes, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take your light peach and see how there's a harsh line right there? What I wanted you to try to do, and you might have to go back and forth a couple times between the peach and the white, but I want you just to try to get rid of the sharp line there. I still want white under there, but try to kind of blend out just a little bit of that harsh line. Let me see if you'll see the difference between the two here. I'm just kind of going back and forth over it. Now, see if you can see the difference between that and that. Can you see the difference? It's very subtle. I've just kind of blended out the peach from the white. Are y'all able to see that? From this eye to that eye? Okay, so let me go over here now. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I don't want to completely lose that white, but I don't want a line. This is where you start doing some blending. Okay. Can you tell the difference there? And same thing here. We don't want any harsh line here. If this looks too harsh to you, blend it out with your light peach. Just go over the top of it. You see how that got rid of that harshness just by going over and over it like that? Same here. See that darkness of the sienna? You have to have that there to start with, But then now you can start blending things out. Okay? I hope you're able to see that. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is get your dark brown, not black. Her bottom lashes are not as, let me find my dark brown here. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Let me sharpen her up. Dark brown. And to keep them subtle, you'll see what we do in a minute. Okay? So with the dark brown, okay, the eyelashes grow not quite into that line, but almost, okay, in her case. Now, every eye, you're going to have to look at every eye. All right, so she actually needs just a tiny bit of darker in the corner there. Just, I mean, I'm barely touching that very sharp pencil there. Same for this side. It just needs a little bit darker, like right in there. Now, here's what I want you to do. The same thing, now, way littler than that, okay? She does have long eyelashes on the bottom too, but don't push down. I want you to barely flick down just like that. The same, like from the middle again. From the middle of her eyelash, the pupil, just flick it down. Don't go even past the white. Just one little line like that. And this is with the brown. And we're even going to lighten it up even more in just in a minute. Okay? All right. Then put just a couple little flicks on the toward the middle. Let me do this one so you can see. Just a couple little flicks like that. See how subtle that is? All right. And then over here, just go to the end of the iris again and do one flick out like that. And the same on this side. It's almost to the brown line, but not quite, right? You know, it's hard to, so tiny, you know, and I'm trying to get the camera in so much. And what you're going to do is just barely, I am barely touching. Let me get it to focus. I am barely touching the paper. Can you see it? A couple might stand out a little bit more, but almost all of them are very, just a couple of little short like that. I think she needs one more over there. Okay. Okay. Now what I want you to do is take your peach, take your light peach. I gotta sharpen mine up again. And what this will do, it'll make it look like there's little baby, tiny little baby hairs in there with this, doing this. Take your peach and, I mean, very subtly, just sort of touch on top of the brown, maybe just a little bit of a squiggle, a little bit. I mean, you're almost kind of just kind of like trying to blend them in just a tiny bit, just to knock the edge off that dark brown. And I really don't even have enough on this over here. I could even put a little bit more dark brown over there. So it's not showing up at all in the camera. But then what you do is with the peach color, when you kind of go over it and just kind of knock back that brown, it kind of blends it in a little bit and it makes it look, like there's two or three for each one you put by kind of blending over the top, because it kind of smears it, you know, kind of smears that brown. So it almost makes it look like there's two or three lashes for each one you drew. All right. I mean, and I mean, you could do a couple at the up here too if you really wanted to. Just kind of smear in a couple if they look, like if you want to. Just all right. Okay, bye, Morgan. All right. So now one last thing we're gonna do on the eyes, and we're going to still add a little bit more subtlety to her irises. I want you to get your dark gray, whatever your dark gray is. Get your dark gray, and we're just going to sharpen just a little bit of little sharpness to the pupils again, or the irises. And then we're going to stop for the day. All right, so I'm trying to hold everything just as close to the camera as I can so you can see. What I want you to do is get your darkest gray. Is this my darkest gray? No, I think I got one more darker gray. I want the darkest gray. Maybe that was it. Okay, well, I'll use it for now. If I need to, I'll find the darker one. I want your darkest gray. I got to sharpen it again. Pointy, pointy, sharpie, sharpie. As sharp as you can get that thing. Okay. Now what I want you to do is we're going to make sure that we have nice, sharp outer edges to the iris. Because we've lost a little bit of that clarity by going in with the light blue and the white and everything. Okay, so just right on, as sharp as you can get it on the outer edges of those irises. Just try to round them and sharpen them as best you can with the sharpest as you can with a pencil. Okay? And then what I want you to do is ever so carefully and lightly, right under the eyelashes, right under there. I want you to just sort of try to round out the iris with just the slightest subtlety of the gray. Can you see how subtly I've done that? And I know it may sound like I'm really like, how fussy can you get? But it will make the difference. Hang on, I froze with incoming mail. 1 second. I'll show you here in a minute. Okay. So where I've gone over the top and rounded right under there, right under the eye there, will make the difference. Look at the subtlety of that rounded eye compared to, see how this has sharp edges right there? See those sharp corners? You're just going to knock back those sharp corners very subtly. And it's underneath. It's underneath the eyelashes. Don't go over on top of the eyelashes if you can help it. Okay? You still with me? All right. Now go back to your light blue again. And again, I'm going to have to sharpen. And in the different picture, she has different shades of blue eyes. But, I'm going to just kind of trying to work with, I'm working with this particular picture. And then the other one, I think her eyes are even lighter blue. But I'm going to try to work with so that when you see the picture, you're happy. All right, with your lightest blue. Okay. I want you to work from, now don't cover up the black. Don't cover up that white spot. Although if you accidentally do it, you can go back. You can go back and do it again, put that little dot of white again. But what I want you to do is take your lightest blue, and see if I can get this right in there. And from the inside out, I just want you to kind of pull that blue in, out like that. You're just kind of lightening up. And, you can kind of even try to pull like the light blue out like that. You're just kind of trying to, can you see the subtlety of that? It's very subtle. I mean, 3 little strokes makes all the difference. All right, see if you can watch it over on this side. All right. You're just pulling the light out into the darker like that. It's so subtle. I can't even tell you how. Mandy. Okay, thanks for staying this long, Mandy. Sleep well. Okay, and then I'm going to get my dark gray again because I can tell right under here, I've kind of lost a little bit of the, from the outside in with the dark, I've kind of lost a little bit of that darkness right there. So I'm just kind of going to put that back in. And it's a back and forth process. But what I've basically done is from the outside, in this case with her light blue eyes, I've taken the dark gray and moved the dark gray in. Then I've taken the light blue and moved the light blue out. Okay? All right? So how are y'all happy with what you've done today? Are y'all happy with what you've done today? You know, and then let me get the black again. If your pupils, like in this case, this pupil, I've gone like a little bit of extra light blue around there. So I've almost made this pupil a little small. So you might have to just get back in there and make sure, you know, to kind of round them out and re-darken them if you've gone, you know, got like pencil color over the black to re-darken them. All right, so I'm going to back out the camera now. And again, this is just, you know, we still have to do more shading on the face and everything. Maybe we'll do one other thing real quick. I think what we can do, her dress is a tan dress with blue stars. But I think what we are going to do is white stars on here. Okay, we're going to just do some white stars. Now, what I want you to do is we don't even, you don't even have to make them, and we're going to shade on top of the stars so it looks like the fat folds of the fabric. When you do a pattern on a dress, sometimes what happens is when we do a pattern, let me get some scratch paper here. Sometimes, um, let's see how I want to just demonstrate this. Um, like here's the, like let's just say this is the blue, okay? And we do a design on there. Let me get some white paint. We're going to go with some white paint. Sometimes without really thinking about it, we'll take a pattern. Well, I don't want that. I think we'll go ahead and go with the end of a brush. And we'll do our pattern, but we're not considering where the shading is. Okay, so then what happens is you see no shading on the pattern. I don't know if I'm making sense. Um, this is the wet, so I can't really do it on there. But you'll have all the exact same white dots, and there's no differentiation between on those dots. So it looks like they're just sitting on top of your fabric rather than part of the fabric. I don't know if that makes sense. Hey, CJ. All right, so what I want you to do though, and if here again, you don't, if you don't like what you do, you can paint over it. But what I want you to do, we're going to shade on top of this after it dries. Okay, so we're not, this is all we're going to do for the rest of the day. But what I want you to do is just do some random, maybe not a lot, because this is just going to be, I want you to just maybe do 4 or 5 like this, little white dots. And you might have to stop in between because what I'm going to show you to do. And a couple might be really close because of the fold of the fabric. This is not going to have to be exactly anything. I just want you to kind of practice like some pattern on an outfit. What I want you to do is after you put just a dot of the white, I want you to take either a craft knife or a needle. I'm looking for my pokey tool here. Your pokey tool. And I just want you to get in the middle of those dots and just kind of flick out. If you don't get enough, you can put more paint on there. I want you to just do some subtle like little star shapes. They don't have to all be exact. it's just, we're going to just do a little bit of a star pattern on the dress. Okay. If you don't think it's the stars are big enough or too big, you can go back in there. But it's not that important, guys. Don't freak out over it. I just want you to kind of do this. Okay, so all they are is just a little white dot of paint, and then I'm taking a pokey tool or a needle and just kind of just pulling out some little star shapes. And the smaller ones are going to have smaller stars, shapes. They can be a little bit different shapes. So it's just what we're just doing is kind of just creating a little bit of a pattern on the dress, and they don't have to, you don't want them exact. You do not want them exact. You want them to be just kind of like random, so they look more realistic. Okay. So this is what we're going to do for her dress. Again, I'm going to put a couple over on this side of her sleeve and just kind of flick them out. If you get too much, then you can wipe it back or go back over it with your blue. Continuously wipe off your little tools and just do it, easy. Just be gentle. Because when you're doing a pattern, the farther pattern, like behind your ear here, the pattern's going to look smaller than closer up, All right, just something like that. All right. So are we good? Are y'all liking it so far? Now, when we start blending all this in, it's going to make her look younger. She looks a little older. One thing is because she does have longer eyelashes. But we're going to blend her out, and some of these, it makes her look a little older with these harsher lines, but they're going to get blended out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to probably do is her lips, and then we can probably finish it next time. All right, but I'll take a picture of mine. If y'all are still playing along, or whenever you do, take a picture of yours and put part 2. Okay, make sure your picture's signed. Make sure it's signed, even though we're not done with it. Sign your picture. Okay, and she's going to have little freckles. So we got more to do. We got at least one more show. I think we could probably finish it in another 2-hour episode. Okay, so I think, yes, you got more homework, but you have the weekend. We're not gonna get back to it till Monday. Okay, and I'm not gonna do anything else. I'll stop right here, and I'm not gonna do anything else um, till Monday. All right. So hopefully y'all are liking her so far, and we'll get back to her on Monday. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. And I will upload it to YouTube as part 2 of 3. Well, I won't say part of 3 because it may be more, but this will be part 2. All right, guys. You're welcome. Thanks for modding, Vicki and Eileen and Carrie. Thanks, everybody, for being here and playing along. And I hope that y'all will be, learning some things so that when you want to do a portrait, and we'll also maybe, after we do a couple more like this, we'll do a little bit more drawing practice. Okay, but this will help you to be happy with color, pencil, and shading, I hope. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. And we'll see y'all on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube, and Pinterest, and G Plus, and Instagram. Bye, guys.